besties, it's Carol. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be doing my November wrap-up. I almost forgot what month it was. At this point I cannot keep count. We also have a new kind of background type situation. It is in fact rainy, so we have to deal with the lighting that we got. But you know what? I think it's kind of fine. Don't look at the mess in the background, okay? I'm just a girl. Just gonna be talking about the 4 books that I read in November. It's kind of like 5. Just my thoughts, my rating, probably what I recommend. It's just gonna be a short and sweet video. Make sure to follow my socials down below. I love my goodreads, my Amazon wishlist, like that, and link below there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and everything. And let's get right into it. Alrighty, first book that I read in the month of November, I low-key kind of forgot everything about it, but it was Wildcard by Elsie Silver. This is Elsie Silver's most recent release, and this is the very last book in the Rose Hill series. So this is about, I believe it is Sebastian and Gwen. Basically, the book starts off with like this kind of meet cute where they are like both stuck in an airport because like a flight is delayed or something, and then they have kind of just like a night of talking and a lot of fun, and they like exchange names and numbers and all that, and then Sebastian ends up like reaching out and never hears back. He has a son that he never knew about, so I think his son is like 24 or something, so his son is older now, and they're kind of like trying to build a relationship and stuff like that. And Sebastian ends up getting invited to his son's like birthday party or something, and there's Gwen. Apparently she is now dating his son, so it's ex-boyfriend's dad, age gap kind of romance. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Honestly, like, it was okay. Again, I don't really remember too much from it, but I just like remember it. I wasn't all that interested. I feel like, yeah, it was like sweet between the two of them, but there always just was that lingering, obviously that's like his son and they already have such a fragile relationship that he's trying to build, so like him getting with his own son's ex-girlfriend is a little weird. But it always was just like, you know that TikTok sound where it's like something something something, I'll be there? It was like that. I feel like it was just such a lingering aspect and talked about obviously so much because it is a factor in the book. I just was like, I don't know how they could have really got over that. Like, it was such like an unfortunate situation for both of them. Like, I don't know, I just really didn't connect with either of the characters. This was my first ex-boyfriend's dad. Will I read more? I don't think so. Honestly, it like wasn't crazy to me. This might be my least favorite in the series, but I flew through it. Elsie Silver's books I read so fast. It's bittersweet to be done with all of Elsie Silver's books though. I have to wait till April of next year, which is crazy for her new series to come out, which I'm very excited about. So 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, and then these next 2 books, I read one and started one in my video that my boyfriend chose my reads for the week. Really fun video. Definitely go check it out. It was so much fun, and I definitely am gonna do that again. This is the Grimm and Oro, I think it's like Dual Crowns book or something. It's called something like that. I'm showing Grimm's side. It is dual-sided. It's got really pretty edges. Like, it's honestly such a beautiful book with such beautiful like art for both of the characters. This is part of the Late Lark series, but I don't think you necessarily need to like read it at all. I ended up overall rating it 4 stars, so it's like half of a story with Grimm and Isla and his like growing up and backstory, and then the other half is like Oro, his growing up and his love story with Isla, our female main character. I would probably give Oro's side like a 3 stars. It wasn't bad. I just don't like Oro personally. I am forever team Grimm. There's something about him that like, it seems like he's too like golden boy. I mean, literally he is, but there's just something about him that I feel like he just has to be liked. You know, like everybody loves him. Everybody loves Oro, and I'm just like, I just don't connect with a character like that because I love some Worley Gray, hence Grimm here. So, I mean, I really like that we got to learn a lot about Oro growing up. Like, half of his little book or novella, whatever we're calling them, was a lot about him growing up and how he lost literally everything and him having to become the king. Some more background on him because I feel like we didn't get a lot in the first couple books. The only thing I didn't love is that his like love story, I guess, or the part that the romance that he had with our female main character took place during the Centennial. And if you've read the Light Lark series, the Centennial happens in that first book. So I felt like it was just very repetitive, and I just didn't feel like Isla actually liked him like at all. There was no signs, even like context clues that she liked him at all, and I just didn't like their romance. It was so like insta-lovey. I felt like I don't even know where it came from. There was no development. Like, he was just like, really hate this girl, but I'm in love with her. Like, there's just no development. Grimm's side, like, if I had to rate it, would give it a 4 stars. So that's why I kind of rated the book overall 4 stars. I liked Grimm's part. Obviously, he's my preferred male main character, but it was kind of the opposite opposite with this. So I liked that we got like a new side of romance between him and Isla because it happened before the Centennial, and I won't get into it because I don't want to spoil it unless you haven't like read the series yet. It was before the Centennial, so it was like a new kind of romance. I was like, okay, I wanted new information about them. How did they become to be leading up to the Centennial, and seeing them kind of fall in love like at first. But again, it's supposed to be like a novella, so things move really fast. And then my only complaint was we didn't get a lot of him growing up. I feel like he's such a complex character, and obviously he's like the dark character, the broody character, the morally gray character. He's not very nice to anybody, so even though we got a little bit about him growing up, it was kind of just like, oh, like something happened to him and he was just immediately like that. Or maybe not as much happened in his childhood as Oro to have enough information for that. We got more romance in his point of view, so I was fine with that. 4 out of 5 stars. Alrighty besties, last 2 books. So like I said, I did start this book in that video, but I did not get too far into it. That book was Direbound by Sable Sorensen. So this is the first book in a Wolves of Ruin series. I don't know how long it's gonna be. This is just the first book. I saw this at Target. It's been sitting there like a while, and I was like, what is this book? I was really interested. I like read the back and I was like, oh, it sounded very interesting. And then I started seeing it on Book Talk, and it was like, basically, if you really liked Fourth Wing, you would like this book. It's like the same concept, but like make it with wolves instead of dragons. So then I was like, okay, now we're talking. Basically is a book where this woman named Marin lives in like a kind of a poor kind of town, and there's these vampires or siphons, whatever they're called, and they're taking the children, like young children. Marin's younger sister ends up getting taken, so what she does is that she enlists in the army in hopes to kind of fight against the siphons on the front lines and help save her sister. But it just happens to be that at the same time that the training camp, I guess, for the army is going to start, there's these things called bonding trials. Now she has to get thrown in these trials where basically she has the opportunity to be bonded with a direwolf, and she does not really like them at all. She does not like the bonded or anything like that. She does end up become bonded with a wolf and has to survive these trials. It's a whole thing, and she ends up having a romance with the prince is all I say, and then there's a little something with her instructor. My boyfriend did pick this out because he heard the word Stark, and apparently that is related to Game of Thrones. I don't know if this is some Game of Thrones knockoff. I've not seen Game of Thrones at all. I really like this book. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just really liked the way this book was plotted out. I feel like it was one of like the strongest like first books in a series that I feel like I've ever read. Like I felt like everything was just explained very well. I feel like everything was set up really good. Like yeah, it was a lot of like information. It definitely was like slower. That's why I did give it 5 stars, because I felt like the book was kind of slow, but I obviously get it because it's like the first book and we're trying to like build up the series, build the plot, build up the characters, and just really liked going through this whole entire thing with Marin. I feel like, yeah, there was some romance. I didn't like the main character that it was, but we're learning like this world, and I liked learning all about the bonded. There's like different quadrants. I don't know if that's what they're called, but there's different like sections of the bonded who all do different things. I really liked Stark, the like male interest, love interest, but not really the love interest in this book. I just have a feeling that their romance is just gonna be a slow burn. There were too many secrets. Her wolf was not telling her like the whole thing, and yeah, I guess like that's like so she can figure out everything herself, but like it just got to a point where it really pissed me off. I'm like, can we just like say one thing that is a direct answer? I was getting pissed off for our female main character. Like I usually myself, I never predict anything, especially in a fantasy book, because I am kind of stupid. I don't put things together, but there were multiple points like in this book that I felt like things were a little too predictable. I don't know if it's because I've read a lot of fantasy romance, not like a lot, but I've read enough fantasy romance to start to see how things are very similar between all of them. Things were definitely predictable in this book. I'm very excited to continue the series. The ending was crazy, even though I predicted some things, I didn't predict others, and I'm like, oh my god, where are we gonna go from here? I would totally recommend if you're looking for something kind of like Fourth Wing, but like it also kind of reminded me of like Quicksilver. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Alrighty besties, and then the last book that I read for the month of November was Cash by Jessica Peterson. This is the first book in Lucky River Ranch series. Gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did just finish this yesterday. Cowboy romance series. Y'all know how I love a good cowboy romance. I love them. I would literally read any and all of them. I've heard pretty good things about it, but it's about Molly and Cash, and basically Molly did not really have a good relationship with her dad. Her parents got divorced when she was very young, and they ended up moving to to Dallas. She just really didn't talk to him a lot growing up because he was very busy on the ranch, but he ends up unexpectedly passing away, and she comes back to this small town of Hartsville to kind of look at his will, and basically he left the whole entire ranch to Molly. She had to like stay there for a year to get an inheritance, which is just like a bunch of money. In the like will meeting, I guess, that's where she meets Cash, and supposedly her dad was gonna leave Cash the ranch, but ended up not doing that. He doesn't really like her because she's never been around the ranch, and why would he leave for the ranch and not him? Yeah, they don't get off on a good foot. It's a little bit of enemies to lovers. Basically, it's about them two trying to figure out how to like work together for this ranch. I gave it 3.5 to 5 stars. I think I mentioned that. It was okay. I mean, it definitely was like a slower burn. I feel like they didn't do anything physical until about 55-60% of the way into the book, but like after that it was just straight up smut the whole rest of the book, and that's just like not what I like to read. I didn't expect it to be this like amazing, emotionally depthful romance book. I wanted a little bit more depth overall for this book. So it was just very like instant attraction talk for like most of the book, but there also were some deeper levels where she was trying to like make her relationship with her mom a little better, kind of a lot of grief talk in this book. So there were points where like, yeah, it was more than just like the attraction talk and more than the romance, but I wanted more of that balance instead of like it all being romance. And I thought like their dynamic was good, was like enemies to lovers, so they did butt heads a lot. I really liked the vibes. I liked the small town. I liked the found family, the whole ranch. He has 4 brothers, so I think there's just going to be a whole series about the brothers, so the found family will end up being good. I will continue with the series. I do have the second book already. Not too much to say about this one. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Alrighty besties, so that is it for my November wrap up. Short and sweet. I overall had like a pretty good reading month. Hope you guys enjoyed. With all that being said, make sure to follow my socials down below. Look my goodreads, my Amazon, which says stuff like that is linked down there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and me. And I'll see you guys next week for another video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!